Hello.
Hello, how are you?
I am good. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you for asking. What is your name?
Yeah. My name is Dee. What is your name?
Nice to meet you, Dee. I'm Richard.
Nice to meet you, Richard. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Brazil. I live in the state of São Paulo. What
Oh,
about you?
I am in North Carolina, currently in America. Um, wow. Are you from Brazil? Like, did you grow up in Brazil?
Exactly. I grew up here in Brazil and yeah, I have been living here for my whole life.
Oh, wow. What do you do there?
I work in logistics
Okay.
and I also study in college. I study electrical engineering and what else? And I study English a lot. So I am a busy
Nice.
person.
Yeah. Why? What's your motivation for studying English?
That's a great question because everyone knows English is amazing. Everyone speaks English. English allows us to travel around the world. We can do so many things, read articles, read books. We can be in touch with the new things of the world.
Yeah,
So that's interesting. So that's why, basically, I want to learn English because I love it. I
yeah,
literally love it. That's interesting because when I was in high school, I didn't like English at all. When I realized English is really important, I decided to study hard and I began liking it. So that's interesting. And
wow,
here I am studying English a lot. Kind of, I study every day here on Cambly 5 times a week for 30
wow.
minutes, and my English has improved a lot since then.
That's crazy. How long have you been using Cambly?
I've been using Cambly for almost 1 year, and I have been studying English for um, one edge. I would say 2 years. Yes, 2 years.
Wow, your English is very good. Like,
Thank you. Thank
yeah, you have really good pronunciation. It's very
that.
clear.
Thank you. Even though I
Yeah.
don't care a lot about accent,
Uh-huh.
I want to be understood. But I
Yeah.
have been watching so many TV shows, talking a lot of native speakers, so I have been improving my accent. It's natural.
Yeah.
I'm not
Wow.
forcing it. It's completely
Yeah.
natural. That's interesting.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
And how about you?
Yeah,
Could you please tell me a little bit about yourself?
sure. Well, currently I live in North Carolina. This is my home state. This is where I grew up. Um, I also went to university here in this state. But after I graduated, I moved to New York and I lived there for about 3 years. And then after that, I moved to Denver, Colorado. I spent almost a year there, not quite. And yeah, I love to travel. I've also been to Melbourne, Australia. I've been to Vietnam a few times and a couple places in Europe. Like, not too many places. Like, I want to go to more places, but yeah.
That's interesting. And do you know how to speak another language besides English?
Yeah, so conversationally, I can speak Vietnamese. And I have basic French knowledge. French is what I studied in school. So like I feel like I have a lot of passive knowledge. Like I can like read and write a little bit, but speaking, like I can't really have a conversation with people in French. So I would like to. That's something I'd like to learn.
Yes, and it's like me. I understand Spanish a lot, as it's kind of similar Portuguese, but I want to improve it. I want to be able to have conversations like this. So
Yeah.
I'm thinking about starting learning Spanish next
Okay.
year. It would
Nice.
probably be in January.
Yeah.
And that's so interesting because I think the more language we know, the better it is to have
Yes.
better jobs, to have more opportunities, and to meet a lot of people.
Yeah, I agree. So I I'm hoping to actually go to France next year and maybe spending a month or two something there and like try to practice and like get better. But I also I want to learn Arabic and Russian also. So
You have a
down
lot of
the
goals.
one day. But yeah, like because like I was just doing research, like you can find just list of like the top languages that are spoken around the country. So like it's one of my goals to be able to like speak the top 5 languages so that, like anywhere I go, it's just like I know I can talk to someone, you know what I mean?
That's really great. When I think
Yeah.
when you speak a lot of language, you're like a fancy person.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah. So
that's great.
let's
And
see.
have you taken Vietnamese classes?
No. So my parents are Vietnamese. So
Mm,
I never when I was young, I did they did send me to like a class on the weekends, but I did not do that for very long. Most of and that's I can't really read or write Vietnamese. I can kind of like guess, but like I can't really do that. So like my conversational skills is really just from my parents would not allow me to speak English growing up in the house. Like I can speak English outside the house, but
I see.
in my house, we had to speak Vietnamese if we wanted to talk to them. So that's how I have my Vietnamese language skills.
That's so interesting because I think they made the best choice because as you grew up speaking Vietnamese, you already know it. So you
Yeah,
know how to speak it and you spoke English, you have been speaking English your whole life. So,
yeah,
right? So that's interesting. Yeah,
right.
I wish I had the opportunity to learn other languages when I was a kid.
Yeah, it's crazy because like when I was young, like I hated that my parents wouldn't let me speak Vietnamese. It's just like it's just like when I was younger, it's just like how you just want to be like everyone else, and so like you don't appreciate it. But now that I'm an adult, I'm like, wow, I'm so thankful that my parents made me do that because like now I have cousins. Like my cousins are young. They're like between 2 and 9 years old, and they can't speak Vietnamese. Like they're like my aunts and uncles like only uses English with them in the house, and they only use English at school, and like they don't know Vietnamese. Like my little 5-year-old, like he can't even count, and it just makes me so sad because I'm like, yeah,
Yeah, because sometimes we feel like I don't want to overwhelm my kid, and
yeah,
but I think it's not children especially they learn so fast, and I think we
yeah,
have to help them to learn a lot of languages. So that's
yeah,
interesting,
for
and
sure.
and I only had the opportunity to learn English when I started working. I worked since I was 15 years old, so I've been working for 7 years.
Wow.
And when I was 20 years old, I said to myself, I need to speak English right now. It's so important. I am already in college, and when I when do I no when will I learn English? So I made a decision and I started studying it, and I feel like, oh my gosh, it's so nice. So
Yeah, that's so wonderful.
yeah, then when I started here on Cambly, especially, I think that was the time when I discovered my passion of English.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah, I don't
wow,
know
that's so
if
beautiful.
I don't know if it's English especially or if it's for all kind of language. So
Yeah.
when I take Spanish classes, I will figure it out.
Yeah. That's great. Um, so So Brazil's national language is Portuguese?
Exactly. Our first language is
Okay.
Portuguese, and we
Yeah.
take English classes in elementary school, in the kindergarten, in elementary school, in high school. But when I quit high school, when I finished high school, it's better. I was not able even to have a simple conversation. So
Yeah.
I felt frustrated a lot of times. But once I started studying English, my English improved a lot.
Yeah. How would you say that the way they teach English in school is different from your independent learning?
I would say sometimes we don't have English teachers in school.
Hmm.
So it's sad, because we have a lot of subjects and sometimes they don't care about English. So I'd like to say that it depends on where you study, which state you study, you know. But I think when I was in the seventh grade, I didn't
Hmm.
have an English teacher. So it's sad, because English is so important, and I think they have to change their method because
Yeah.
it's possible. We study English a lot in school, and I think if they change it, I think we can learn better.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
because
Okay.
I think sometimes people think we have to to go to a private English school. I
Hmm.
think it's not true. We can go there to have the basic grammar and to learn the basic things, but I think we can teach ourselves
Yeah.
if yes, I think if we are persistent
Hmm.
and we really enjoy it, I think we can achieve our goals.
Yeah. I agree with that.
So thank you.
And I agree. Like I think I mean I don't know what the education system is like in Brazil, but like in America, there's a lot of things I don't like about it. Like I feel like the children, uh, like now when they go to school, it's just like the teacher's job is just to tell them like think this, think this, think this. They don't. It's not about like teaching them to think. You know what I mean? It's not
Totally.
like don't tell someone what to think, but like teach them how to think. Like teach them to be learners. Because like you said, like learning, like when you are actively learning and you are engaged and you direct what you learn, it is so much more. It's just so much more effective than just a kid sitting there and the teacher is just telling them like what to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean. And did you take Spanish or French in high school?
French. French.
That, that's great.
Yeah.
And did you feel you learn a lot of things?
Um, I feel like I learned a lot about. I feel like I learned like the basic structure of the language. I learned some basic vocabulary that I can't sit here and just list all the words I know. Like I think I know more than I think I do, but like vocabulary and like sentence structures and grammar and like it's like I learn all the rules of the language, but I feel like there was not enough practicing. Like there wasn't enough like just natural usage of the language. So it's like I was able to learn the rules and like pass the exams, but like I can't go into a French cafe and just like know what I'm doing. You know what I mean? Like
I see.
I wouldn't feel comfortable in that way. So that's how I feel about it.
Yeah, so that's great because they give you the direction. For example, they give you the basic grammar. Because when I
Yeah.
was in high school, I didn't know which way to go, you know?
Wow.
So we can start learning by ourselves when we know the basic grammar. Because,
Hmm.
but when I started, I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do. So
So
yeah, so it's important to know the grammar structure
Yeah.
because when we learn it, we can improve day by day, month by month, and year by year.
Yeah.
That I think.
That's great. So, what do you like to do for fun?
Okay. I, I don't have a lot of time. As I told you, I study electrical engineering. I'm
Yeah.
writing my thesis. But when I have time, I love hanging out with my friends and my family, especially uh, playing soccer
Yeah.
and watching TV shows in English. So I watch a lot of TV shows in English. Sometimes my mother says, "You are going, you're going to be crazy," because she doesn't understand English, and
Yeah.
I watch it all the time.
Yeah.
She gets pissed off. But yes, and what else? Yes, I think that's it.
Yeah.
And what about you? What do you do for a living, and what do you like to do?
Yeah. Well, right now I just teach. I used to work in market research and worked with a lot of like tech startups and things like that. But I don't do any of that anymore. I just teach now. I things I like to do. I really love to travel. Like I just like going to new places, meeting new people. I also like to. I love nature, so I love going out on like hikes and like camping and like stuff like that.
That's great. You
And
like to feel the fresh air,
yes, I
don't you?
do a lot. Yeah, other than that, like, yeah, just like hanging out with friends. I like food. So, like, I love, like, I'll eat anything, like, I'll try anything. And, yeah, so that's what I like to do.
That's great. Do you like fast food?
um, no, I don't. Uh,
Really?
I eat
No
fast
way.
food. I do eat fast. In America, I eat a lot of fast food, but, um, it's not good for you, and like it's better to it's it's convenient, and so yes, I
Yeah,
do eat fast food, but it's not the best food for you. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah. That's the word, convenience.
Yeah.
Because sometimes we are in a rush and we want something fast, and we see McDonald's, Burger King, and we want to buy something to eat.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's so unhealthy, and I totally agree with you. I want to eat better,
Yeah.
but it's so delicious.
Yeah.
I sometimes I can't resist.
Yeah. Yeah.
and and I have talked to a lot of teachers here on Cambridge from different cultures, and that's so interesting because we can learn a lot from it. And what are your meals? For example, what do you usually eat for breakfast, for lunch, and for
Yeah.
dinner?
So it might be kind of different for people. For me, my ideal breakfast, I don't like to eat first thing in the morning. Like I feel like for me, like I kind of need a little bit of time to wake up, and so like usually in the mornings, I prefer eating lighter. So like I like to have like fruit or like muesli or like chia pudding, oats kind of things, yogurt. So like um, maybe I'll do like eggs and toast or like something like that. But lunch and dinner is kind of the same for me.
What do you
I
usually eat?
anything, whatever I'm feeling like. If I eat at home, then it's Vietnamese food because that's what my parents and my grandparents cook. But if I'm not eating Vietnamese food at home, then when I go out, like I'll eat Mexican food. I'll eat Thai food. I'll eat Italian food. Uh, Literally everything. So,
Yeah, do you like to try out different cuisines? That's
yeah.
interesting. And yes, we we Brazilians, we usually eat for breakfast bread with cheese and ham.
Uh-huh.
Lunch, we usually eat rice, beans, and meat, meat or chicken.
Yeah.
And we eat the same for dinner.
Nice.
So it's kind
Yeah.
of the same. But in my case, I don't. I haven't tried different cuisines, different,
Yeah.
for example, from Italian food, Chinese food. I don't have this. I'm not used to that
Yeah.
here. Yeah, but that's interesting. When I go to a new country, I want to try it out.
Yeah. So, what is Brazilian food like? Like, what's your favorite Brazilian dish?
Oh my gosh. Okay, I would say we have our cultural meal here. I think it's called feijoada,
Uh-huh.
but I don't like it. It's basic. It it is the ingredients are beans and meat and a lot of things inside it, and I don't like it.
Yeah.
And I think yeah, but I like yeah, because I don't know what are the Brazilian cuisine. I'm going to look it up when we talk again.
Okay.
I will tell you.
Oh,
That's so great. Yeah, because learning English, I have to look a lot of words up in the dictionary, and
yeah.
it helps us a lot. That's great. And w- which countries have you already been to?
I have been to Canada and England and Wales and Vietnam and Australia. Yeah.
Only English-speaking countries?
Except for Vietnam.
Vietnam. But
Yeah.
do they speak English well there, right?
They speak Vietnamese. But I mean, like in the airports or like places like that, like you'll find English speakers, but and kids do learn English in school, but it's not widely spoken.
I see. But
Yeah.
but we can hanging out comfortably there, right? If you only
Yeah.
speak in English.
Right. So you'll be okay. Like if you're in a larger city, you'll be able to manage okay. If you go out into the countryside, probably not.
I see.
Yeah.
So it was really nice talking to you. I really
Yeah, it was
appreciate it.
nice meeting you, Richard. That was great.
Yeah, do you have a schedule?
I don't have one up yet. I I'm kind of like transitioning a little bit right now. Just I'm getting ready to move and stuff like that, so my schedule's kind of wonky.
Okay.
But I'll be on every day, so like maybe you'll see me on, and eventually, once things settle for me, I'll put a schedule up.
Okay, thanks so much. I hope to
Yeah.
talk to you again. Have a
You
great day.
too. Thanks, Richard. You too. Bye
Bye.
bye.